We're steaming the shear clamp. We got just a teeniest little hole there because we're really accumulating some water. But you can see that we've got quite a bit of steam rolling there. And that's my old wallpaper steamer that I've had for a long time. There's the doggies. They're beat. And I'm trying not to steam the epoxy. And this other one took a little bit longer to get going, but it's a longer run. So this is the forward end, and there's a brand new wallpaper steamer. So we're coming at this thing from both ends. And if you look in here, you can see the wood bubbling. Now, the other thing I'm doing is I'm starting to put little wood blocks. See that one up there, forward, frame one? That's where the shear clamp's going to rest down on. So I'm putting blocks in. You can see I've got lines drawn where the shear clamp should lay. So, like on this one, I'm going to put a little oak block right down here, right there, to hold it so I can clamp onto it and so that I don't have to worry about trying to hold it there. Because when this thing goes in here, this has to be lower than the shear line because the deck beams rest on the shear clamp. I believe the British call it a beam shelf, and that's why. Back here, past station 7, it'll just run even with the shear line. So we'll put a couple of little blocks on that so we've got a place to land. I figured out how to use the time lapse on my camera. Here I'm just cutting off some of the excess frame heads, although I left a few on so that I could run some cross bracing across, hopefully to keep the boat in shape as we try to bend in the clamp. Getting ready to bend in the steamed clamp. I think I have enough clamps. For the most part, this boat build in this video series has been a series of successes. Last night we had a rather epic failure. After steaming the shear clamp for about, close to an hour and a half, we want to try to fit it in here, and you can see that it's bent in here if you can see through the braces and the clamps. The only problem is that back here where the scarf was, it's snapped in two. I had said in a previous recording that if this happened, I might just butt block this, and I'm still considering that. I could put a piece of oak in here, cut this off, and just run the rest of it back. My only other concern is that I'm going to have to come all the way around, I think. My other concern is that it did not lay down as far as it's supposed to forward. I put these little guide blocks down on the frames and screwed them in. You can see over there where I've got them in there. We just couldn't get it bent down on those. I don't know if I needed to steam it longer. I think we might be okay. I'm probably 1.5 inches most of the way there, and I probably could just plane it off up there at the front. I'm quite perplexed. Part of me wants to just go and cut down a tree like I originally thought I might do. And spring has come along far enough now that the leaves are on the trees, so I could find a white oak on the property, and it wouldn't take very much. I just need a 16-foot section, so it wouldn't have to be a great big huge tree. But that way maybe I could get a continuous piece. But when you cut a tree down, you don't know if you're going to be dealing with a bunch of knots, and this wood was very straight grained. So for the moment, it feels like a failure, and yet at the same time, it may be very fixable. All of this up here forward, all the way back to frame 7, sits underneath the deck anyway, so you would never see this part that doesn't lay down quite right up here. And I could just plane off the top of that. There's plenty of strength in that oak, believe me, to carry the deck beams. So maybe I can make it work out. Maybe I do just butt block it over there in the back and go on. It makes me really nervous now about the second one over there that I haven't planed down. And steaming it and trying to bed it in. I don't know if we'll have the same thing happen. Part of me just thinks maybe just go ahead and do it in 2 pieces. Cut that splice out. I don't know. All right. More later.